What if we start each episode with you doing your catchphrase?
What's that? LFG?
Yeah, let's go.
Actually?
Yeah, go on. Let's do it.
Like the let's fucking go or LFG?
Just fucking say it. We'll do it. Just
LFG.
Oh. Hello, welcome to Journeyman. Yes, another rugby league podcast. This is episode 2, episode 1. Oh, Jesus, did we take off with a bang. We made the Apple Top 10 Sports podcast list and the Spotify Top 10 podcast list for sports as well. People are sick for Journeyman. I don't know if those lists mean anything. I don't think they do. I'll ask a proper podcaster in a second. Yes, well, people had a bit of trouble finding us. That was one thing. Journeyman. Latsy has chosen a name that has 400 fucking podcasts around the world, so lots of messages. There's every chance you're not going to see this one, so that's rat's ass, but we will continue on. We've got a big show lined up for you today. Obviously, Origin has just taken place. Queensland 38-10 have just pulled down the pants of New South Wales yet again and spanked them really hard. We will do a deep dive into that. There's a couple of new segments that are involved in that. Jimmy Maloney's got one. It's called Maloney's Mentors. Boys, he's going to take a quick and good look at Billy Slater versus Madge Maguire. Battle of the Wits, see who came out on top there. And also... LATSY'S bench watch. There's no greater bench player in the history of rugby league than Jeremy Lattimore. He's going to run us through how the coaches use their benches and who did it more effectively. Also, who sat on the bench the best, who consumed the most fluid. Is this right? And also, who was wearing the jacket the nicest. Lots to look forward to. Also, we're going to be looking forward to round 14 and Jimmy Maloney's. Well, it was a segment that changed podcasting last week. It's called Jimmy Maloney's Would You Rather. Last week we had to censor it pretty hard because the subject matter would have got him fired, and we made an executive decision that he has mouths to feed, so we censored it. You would have seen. I'm hoping this week that Jimmy has one that we can air. That'd be fantastic. All right, hey, let's bring the boys in here.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Okay, fantastic. First of all, yes, you heard that voice just then. It is the current assistant coach for North Queensland, Jimmy Maloney. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you going? A little bit disappointed after Origin ended after 8 minutes last night, but, we'll move on.
Very good. You're coming to us from North Queensland. Mate, have you ever been in North Queensland the day after Queensland pumps New South Wales?
No, never. It's a first, and there's a lot of maroon getting around.
Yeah, fantastic. Enemy territory. Also today, no Toby Rudolph. He's well, I think because they've lost a couple on the trot, he's going to go do some training. So instead, we've got, well, he's a man never played Origin, but God, you probably would have, to be fair.
Maybe.
There you go.
Know.
You know that.
I wouldn't have bothered though. I'm English. It wouldn't have meant anything to me. So
yeah, you're right.
But I'm delighted to be here.
James Graham.
Yeah, been a busy day, couple of recordings. And look, I think for this podcast, I'm not going to have to do much because I'm just looking to my left where I can see Jeremy Lattimore's handwritten notes. So if you want to know what happened in Origin from minute 1, all the build-up, James Tedesco, Dylan Edwards, Jerry seems to be your man because there's lots and lots of, if they're the notes, and that normally your notes provide a bit of a framework for what you're about to say, what you'd like to say. So this could be a long one, guys.
So let me just clarify.
Well, hey, let me bring you in, ladies and gentlemen, the all-time greatest bench player for the NRL, Jeremy Lattimore. Jerry, welcome.
Look, that is not a breakdown of the game. This is actually every night out me and you have had for the last 6 years. So, hey, strap yourself in.
You know what, Jeremy? I wouldn't put it past you to document all that sort of stuff because you are a spiteful bastard, and you would want that to come back and bite me in the arse one day. So
I do have videos in that phone as well. But I also, you boys did a podcast together, you and James Maloney, on the buy round last week. I got about 3 messages. Jeremy, judge him all. You obviously were saying that in the podcast and ripping into me apparently the first 10 minutes. So thanks for that. Always knifing me behind my back. At least I say it to your face.
Good stuff. Let's get to the Origin. Great stuff. Hey, you say you got all these stories about the boys. We are encouraging, I want to start a segment called Story Time. And it comes up, that's original, comes off the back of Tyson Frizzell, who on one of our Instagram posts said, ask Jimmy Maloney about is it the wedding ring story?
In Origin camp, yeah.
In Origin camp. So if you are a player out there, current or past and you have a story about, well, one of these three gents or even Toby Rudolph, put it on our Insta. We'll then encourage them to tell the story. Let's start with that one, Jimmy. What's this wedding ring story, mate?
Mate, it's not that funny, to be fair, but mate, it was Origin bonding night. We'd sort of been out on the boat. We used to go out on Joey Elias's big 7-star yacht, and we'd all get on the drink and have a good time, and then we'd pull back in and go out to, I think it was the establishment used to be in town there. So as we pulled up to the dock, I've sort of jumped off the boat, and I'm sitting there or standing there next to Connie, our big secker, and Frizz is about to jump off the boat, and I said to Connie, I said, do you reckon it'd be fucking hilarious if I just pushed him in the water? and he's heard me, and he's gone, I fucking dare you, you little so anyway, we're talking rubbish. Then while we're sort of going backwards and forwards, we just hear this ding, and then I was like, and then we sort of look down on the ground, and you see this, obviously something, we didn't know what it was at the time, and it just like in slow motion, you know, the boat's got that fiberglass slight drop off, and you just see this thing slow motion just slide across the boat and go plonk in the water. And I was like, what was that? And he goes, oh, no, don't worry about it. Well, I said, no, what was it? He goes, fuck, it was me wedding ring. So he had he had a clip on one, because I think he had a bad knuckle. So he had it that clips on. So he must have hit like the railing. It's unclipped and fallen. And I'm sitting there just thinking, can you imagine this poor bloke going home to poor Sammy, his beautiful wife, trying to explain how you lost your wedding ring on a Origin bonding night and why it wasn't on your finger. So
while also heading to while also heading to Latino Tuesday at establishment. A few red flags there.
mind you, Sammy being the beautiful lady she is, and I think the story being that bad that if you were trying to make something up, you couldn't possibly come up with that. I think saved him, and all was okay.
There you go. Very good. Wedding ring story. If you're a player and you have another story you want these boys to tell, write in. Get them to tell it. It'll be outstanding. Hey, we have a couple of partners on board. Obviously, LADBROKES. Very excited to have them as a partnership for this show for Journeyman. But also, we have an apparel partner, which is Budgy Smuggler. We today are wearing these Budgy hoodies. We've all got one on. And Jimmy Exelby, when he was messaging me back and forth, he said, you know what? It feels like you're putting on a hug. And it does feel like I'm wearing a hug. Does that feel like you're wearing a hug, Jammer?
Feels nice. Feels good.
Very comfy.
Very good. Now, the other thing is that they've got new underwear. An underwear range, which is incredible. Now, last week you got up and exposed yourself in the underwear.
We're not doing this again, are we?
Well, I'm trying to we've got to pump up these Budgy Smuggler undies. And you're wearing them again. So last week he got up and you were excited about the podcast. We could clearly see that. But as a result, we on Meta or whatever it is, Instagram, they banned us and wouldn't let that post go out. So can you do it for us today? Show us the Budgy Smuggler undies.
But not front on.
Not front on. Give us the derriere. Just while we're talking to you. So while you're doing that.
Is that legit? Did that get flagged?
Yeah.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
They have all sorts of videos on there.
I know. But for some reason, what he was showing was so disgusting. There we go. Let's see.
Look at that thing.
Don't turn around again. There's none against.
What's that like freckle on the back of your leg? The big one.
Birthmark.
Is it?
That's the famous 80-year-old ass of Jeremy Lattimore.
Beautiful. And I tell you,
Budgy Smuggler want people to buy these, right?
They did. Imagine that ass without those Budgy Smugglers on. That's holding them up because they got a deluxe bamboo blend with a no rub thigh panel. I saw that. Also, they keep your tools secure. We learnt that last week. And you can get around them. You can if you go onto their website and you type in Journeyman, then if you type in Journeyman, Jammer's just stolen LATSY'S notes, and it's. Are you gonna be all right without them, Latsy?
No,
Examine
I
away.
actually don't need him. It's
So-
fine. If he wants to do that, but I'm going to expose him for everything I have in my phone. If he
Okay,
doesn't give
this is what this podcast has very quickly become, people exposing each other. Right, Budgie Smuggler, awesome hoodies, awesome new underwears, obviously T-shirts we wore last week, also Speedos, whatever you need, get on. If you go to their website, www.budgysmuggler.com.au, you type in the code Journeyman as you go to buy, you get a tasty 23% off their comfy AF new underwear collection. All right.
There's
Thank
no
you, Budgie
stories
Smuggler.
on you. He's very, very paranoid. But if you want to expose,
I just want you to
but you
speak-
can't.
I just want you to speak from the heart, Jerry. Don't make
They
worry about your
remind
notes.
me because I get to. But I'm not that excited today. Last week I was way too excited. And did you see at the top? Deep breaths, and I've medicated myself.
You had to write that down, didn't you?
That's his famous line is fail to prepare, prepare to fail, Jimmy. So you've just got to let him stick with his organisational ways.
You know
Thank
what?
you,
He
Jimmy.
used to get the shits with me because this idiot one time, right? We used to have a bus back. We used to have a bus down to the Dragons training, and on Captain's Run, one day I'm near the front, Jerry's near the back. You know, thinks he wants to put on a show and stroll around and make everyone laugh. He's got my smelling salts. And he's got them out with the lid off on the bus, like waving them around, like, oh, look at me, Jammer. And everyone's giggling and laughing. Like, what you doing, mate? Put the lid on, you clown. He's like, why? I'm like, because they're my game day smelling salts, you idiot. You'll be first to come and ask for some. I goes, put the lid on, because you could only get these smelling salts from England. They actually got discontinued. So I was running out. And he's like, well, what difference does the lid goes on or not? I'm like, because they run out, you clown. He goes, oh, I thought they last forever. Like
Can I jump in?
he thought they were
Never ending.
infinite smelling salts. So talk about messing around with people's preparation. I've owed you that for a very long time, Jeremy.
Yeah, but no, look, so what actually happened? So I did like that. That was part of my pre-game routine. He's banned me on game day from having it. And I went to grab him when he's gone into the toilet. He literally popped back out. He goes, don't you fucking touch them, mate. Then after the game, he's come. We beat Manly, and he come like, yeah, brother, like acting like best mate. I was still off him. It like actually rattled me a bit not being able to do it before the game.
So how many smelling salts have you got left now? Do you still have, or did you run out while you were still playing?
No, those ones got discontinued. And then on my last game, I just launched them. Like finished with them.
Was there a reason why they were discontinued? Were they?
I think they're a bit strong. They were strong.
They
weren't they?
they were so good. Like it's what they give to boxers when they get KO'd.
Yeah.
So Jim had just done that for a laugh.
When you say you launched them, Gemma, where did you launch them? Into the stands so that an 8-year-old child could have a whack of them.
No, last game was COVID, wasn't it? There was no fans there, so maybe they're around at Hull FC, KC Stadium. You know, if they're the everlasting infinite smelling salts, maybe they'll still be going somewhere at Hull Stadium, but I doubt it.
There you go. Very good. Keep an eye out for those if you are there. Hey, we do need to talk Origin. This is a rugby league show, and we have some genuine experts on here at LATSY'S. So let's get into it. Queensland 38 defeated New South Wales 10. It was in New South Wales. I'm going to ask a very simple question to begin with, and I'll start with you, Jimmy. And there's an obvious answer, but I don't want you to give that one. Why did Queensland win?
Oh, look, I think they were better. I think they were better, and they also had an extra man. So there's two answers. But in all seriousness, obviously, I think the disappointing thing for probably most fans is the fact that, you know, you got 34 players on an Origin field, and, you know, someone outside of those 34 sort of decided the game after 8 minutes. You know, I don't think it was a send-off. I think definite sin bin. I think the fact that Reece Walsh was about, you know, waist height when he got hit, obviously contact to the head, but I think it was an overreaction because, as we later learn now, that Reece Walsh, he passed his HIA, so there was no concussion there. So in terms of that, you know, I just think it was a bit of an overreaction. But in saying that, you know, at the end of the day, New South Wales scored 2 tries where they had to kick the ball. They didn't break their line once, and Queensland ran in 6 tries through the New South Wales line. So I think regardless, you know, the outcome probably would have went to Queensland anyway. But it's just a shame, I think, you know, for our pinnacle event to have something go amiss like that after 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think, and every different person has a different opinion. I'd like to hear yours, Gemma, but I was talking to Luke Lewis at the gym this morning because I thought he would be definite sin bin, and because I reckon maybe sin bin, longer suspension, because like James touched on, 8 minutes into the pinnacle of our sport, it was just a real deflator. But yeah, Louis agreed with the send-off. He said that was why that rule was brought in, to get that out of the game. But I'd love to hear Jammer's opinion on this.
I reckon if he doesn't get sent off and he just gets sin bin, it descends into chaos. So, like, just trying to think what it's like to be in that Origin environment, and then if you see the referee just sin bin Joey Suaali'Is after your star player is KO'd, you're going for vengeance.
Can you walk us through what would have happened in the HIA? What's the exam?
He shouldn't be doing one anyway because it's a category 1. He was knocked out. His eyes rolled to the back of his head. He was lay prone. His arm was limp in the air. Like the force in which his head and neck rocked back. Like the guy was out cold. The very fact that he can pass a so-called concussion test says to me that test is inadequate.
So what is it? Is it that old one of, you know, who's the current prime minister?
Yeah. Apple, elbow, carpet, saddle, bubble. There's some of your 5 words that you've got to remember. Now it's advanced a little bit since then, but for me, he was completely knocked out. But I think if he isn't sent off, I reckon you're looking at about 4 to 5 sin bins in that game, because I reckon everyone just goes, well, it's on. Like, referee's not going to sin. If the referee's not going to sin bin that, well, let's go, because it's just and it's on for young and old, and it descends into carnage. Like, I really do. And I know, like, New South Wales fans will, there's mitigating circumstances. Like, he fell. Dominic Young, when he went into Blake Taff was falling. He got sent off. Like, people talk about the Reece Walsh example from the Penrith game in round 2 or round 3 this year. I think it was maybe Taylor May, I can't recall exactly, who jammed Reece Walsh. And he never got sent off, but Dominic Young did, which is a more recent example. And Trent Robinson said after that game, if this is he disagreed, but he said if that's the standard, then we all accept it moving forward. And I just don't know how you can't send him off. Yeah, it ruined the game, no doubt, but it would have ruined the game even more had he have sin-binned him.
What if that happened 8 minutes into a grand final? Would you love to see that same decision 8 minutes into a grand final? I think,
yeah.
But then that just fully ruins. I'd prefer to see the carnage of 5 people getting sin bin than seeing what we saw last night. Well, it wasn't an enjoyable game to watch.
You go, Jimmy.
It's got to be different. State of origin has to be different. It has been ruled since the dawn of time. It's been a different set of rules. Whether you agree or not, it has. That's how it has been. You've always had more leeway in state of origin. It's the pinnacle of your sport, and you're paying, you know, you think about people that are paying, like fans and that you want in your game, that are paying $300 odd bucks a ticket or whatever to go to watch a game of footy, and they know the result after 8 minutes. You know, you can't win that game with 12 men for 72 minutes.
Well, perhaps they should look at
what you want the sport to be.
Could they bring in Jimmy then? Maybe Suaali'Is gets sent off, but then the Blues enact their 18th man.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a 10-minute.
Well, if you sin bin Suaali'Is, all right, he gets sin bin, you're still down a man for 10 minutes, all right? Even if Reece Walsh doesn't pass the HIA or whatever and is determined to not come back, Queensland can activate their 18th man. So you're still playing 17 on 17, but New South Wales are down a man for 10 minutes. So you've still got an advantage, all right? Queensland have not lost a player for the game, whereas now New South Wales have lost a player for the whole game.
Is the problem?
So it's just, and I think if he flew out and did the same contact high without the amount of drop and slip from Reece Walsh, like he would have hit him dead set lower chest without the slip. Like if it's blatant high contact, then no one's arguing it. But if you want state of origin, your premium product to be built on aggression, to be built on rivalry, then you just taking any chance. Like, it was an aggressive play. He went out the back to make big contact. It wasn't intended to be dangerous, reckless, or anything like that. All right, he just tipped the ball on. It wasn't late, and he would have hit him smack in the chest. All right, but due to other circumstances, now we've made a decision that's determined the game, which has got to be frustrating for fans. Like, if that's what we're talking about, our game wanting fans to come through the door, and we're expecting, to sell out stadiums for State of Origin and people to pay premium dollars for these tickets to then have the game over after 8 minutes. Like, it surely can't be the way we want the game to go.
Is the problem that, as much as you say there's rules for Clubland and then there's rules for Origin, is that the actual differing rules don't exist, right? They're not written down anywhere. So for Ashley Klein, in that moment, he can't all of a sudden go, well...
I think it's an awareness thing.
So do you get what I mean, though?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's still the same rules for the same game. So if Ashley Klein doesn't send him off, he's going to get the same backlash he's getting now for sending him off. So he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. So is it the type of thing, like, flat out, they need to have different rules? What'd you say, Jimmy?
Welcome to the world of refereeing, eh?
Yeah, like, I reckon you're right there. So if he doesn't send him off, Queensland fans are up in arms going, what on earth is going on? What does it take to get a send-off in State of Origin? And then, he gets, pulled from pillar to post. And, the game's got a difficult balancing act in terms of the product, which we want to see 13 on 13, but also, like, if they don't penalise that level of foul play, and I acknowledge that it is purely accidental and there's mitigating circumstances, but if the game don't act like they're facing down the barrel of some shitty situations moving forward in the future when it comes to, like, the longevity of our sport, like, and that's something we've got to consider. And I know Jimmy's passionate about New South Wales, but it's in a funny balancing act.
Do we know, does anyone here know the actual, what determines the difference between a send-off and a sin bin? Like, where's the line? Is that what it is? Is it because we all acknowledge that it clearly wasn't intentional? Is that where the line is? Like, is that what makes the difference between a sin bin and a send-off? Isn't
it any, you'll know this better than me, Jammer, isn't it any shoulder contact to the head?
Intent, I think, is the word intent.
Yeah.
Intent.
And forceful and direct.
I thought it was based around intent, and obviously, I thought that's where the difference was. There was no intent to go anywhere near the head, and it ended up that way. But I don't know the actual what the difference is, and I suppose that's another frustrating thing for most people, because I don't think anyone does know the exact category of what determines a sin bin and what determines a send-off.
You're right there, Jimmy, with that level of confusion, even amongst, like, fans, commentators, people in and around the game, coaches, players, where they don't know where that line is. Maybe the NRL do know, but we just don't want to listen.
Nah, we're probably sick of talking about it. So you, Jimmy, regardless of that, you think Queensland still would have come out on top. Are you the same way, Jammer? Do you think, let's say Suaali'Is doesn't go in the 8th minute, do you think Queensland still would have, based on what you saw? No, you think New South Wales?
For sure. I feel like they should... Once they fixed up that defence, because they were getting smoked on that right side of the field where Suaali'Is had left a hole, and I think they moved Crichton to the right side, and they defended really well for a period of about 40, 45 minutes, and then they just got them late tries purely through fatigue, and the Blues were cooked. But yeah, I feel like they defended really well. There's a fair bit of grit in the defence there for that 45, 50-minute period.
You thinking the same, Jammer?
Don't know. Jimmy, I'll ask you, concerning that first try when it's 13 on 13, Hines concedes a 7-tackle set through the ruck. Nanai, one of your players at the Cowboys, gets a quick play the ball, and then, like, New South Wales looked a little bit rattled. And that was, 4 minutes in?
Yeah, look, I don't, as I said, as much as I don't agree with the decision, I couldn't sit here and say the result would be different if it was 13 on 13. I don't think that way. As I said, I don't think New South Wales handled it as well as they should have. But as you said, they conceded a try straight through them, and it's one thing to defend well, as Latsy said, for 40, 45 minutes. The game goes for 80 minutes, and Origin's always got fatigue in it, whether you're 12-man, whether you're 13-man. That fatigue's still there. So, looking at the overall fact that we didn't break their line, our 2 tries were from kicks, and they ran in 6 tries. Like, I think after that decision for 8 minutes, if you're out there, the only possible way you can give yourself a chance to win, even though it's a big ask, is you need to go just solely defensive mode. You've got 12 against 13. You're not going to score 3-4 tries. Like, it's not going to happen. So your whole mindset needs to go to defense. Your kicking game becomes absolutely vital, because where you give them the ball deep in a corner will determine how many tackles you have to defend where they've actually got 13 behind the ball in shape attacking you. Because if you give them the ball deep in their half and you got 12 and they've only got 4 or 5 behind the ball, then 12 is not a problem. You can handle that. So the kicking game become vital, and they needed to go purely defense. They were not going to score tries, wait for an opportunity, try and jag one off a kick, 1-2 tries, and they needed to just go, we defend for 72 minutes. That was the only possible way, I feel, that they could have put themselves in a chance to win. They needed to go into conserving their energy, knowing that they were going to be under the pump. Kicking game vital of where you give them the ball, and then just defend. So the fact that we give up 6 tries, I just don't think that's something you can do in Origin and win footy games.
Yeah, I feel like the kicking game was a big determinant factor, but also they'll kick in early. They'll kick in on play 3 and 4 at different times, which I think obviously you've spoken about. They're up against it with that. They need to be conserving energy, so they need to play out the set. Even on the commentary, they were talking about they should have been kicking it out, starting from set starts. And then the attack, they looked like they were all over the shop. What do you think leading into Origin 2? Like, what changes would you make, Jimmy, James, and James?
There's 3 Jameses here. How dumb is this podcast?
JJ.
Who are you going first? Which Jimmy Maloney?
We'll go James Graham.
James Graham changes.
He just spoke for 15 minutes straight without a breath.
I reckon it's set up for Latrell Mitchell. I really do. Like, the lads had a difficult 12 months. South Sydney are in a hole, but sometimes, like, sport gives you these opportunities. Some things get written in the stars, and for me, the Hollywood creator goes, Latrell Mitchell comes back in and wins the series for New South Wales. And sport is about lots of things, and some of it is about heroes and villains. And I think Latrell has been the villain for a long time. Rightly or wrongly, but I think it's set up for a person like him, and I think if he's given the opportunity, I could see him taking it, because New South Wales now, that they're under so much pressure to win this second game, and even if they win that, they've got to go to Suncorp and win again. And I think you can imagine the boos just echoing every time Latrell touches the ball. If it's 1-1 up there, and like, how good would it be for him to just be that man and just laugh at 50,000 Queenslanders and go, I've done this for my state, and watch him become the hero of the league all over again.
Jimmy, where are you going to pick him at?
Centre. Well, look, Suaali'Is gone. So he's gone for minimum 4. So he won't get a game before Origin 2. And I think he'd slot into that position.
What about the halves? Thoughts?
I'll let Jimmy answer. Well, Jimmy's the expert half, yeah. So what about you, Jimmy?
Mate, look, it is tough, because I think after, as I said, 8 minutes, attack wasn't a priority. Like, you can't attack with 12 men against 13. I think the mentality, I don't know whether the mentality went straight to defence, but I think that's where it needed to go. Look, it's hard. Obviously, if you're talking about how important a kicking game is in Origin. Look, haven't always been, myself personally, haven't been the biggest fan of Mitchell Moses, but his comeback game there, his kicking game was good. So I suppose you got to wait and see. You don't make decisions now. I think you let it all settle. There's still a fair bit of football to be played between now and Origin 2. So you take your time, see how guys bounce back. Obviously there'll be guys that have played and are disappointed. How their club form goes after that will contribute. So I don't think you make rash decisions after the day after. I think you let it go a couple of weeks and you see where all the cards fall.
All right. This is very serious. This is
good. Good chat.
This is
Great chat, Jimmy.
Great Origin chat. Let's talk some
We need
lighters.
to get away from this shit.
Yeah, I know. Very good. Hey, what do we all make of the national anthem? What do we think? Old Dylan Wright. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
He kind of did his own rendition. Did you see it, Jimmy Maloney?
Yeah, good. I liked it. Mix it up.
Did you see it, Jammer?
No, I was driving home. It was on the radio.
It was like, so he sort of did a bit of a different rendition, took it to places where you don't normally
He
go.
was singing God Save the King.
Exactly.
Would anybody ever mess with God Save the King? Like, would they do their own rendition? Or can you still get beheaded for that sort of thing over there?
You probably can, yeah. No, I don't know. I just whatever. I mean, we're there to watch the game. Like, the anthem's the anthem. You do your dignitaries. Just
What?
Yeah.
What about how crazy it was? Because we've had a queen for so long,
Yeah.
I had no idea that the lyrics changed to the king because it's now a king. That sort of blew me mind when it happened because it was God Save the Queen for so long.
Have they changed
I had no idea.
Have they changed the money yet? Have they done the coins? Surely Charlie's on a few coins. Do you know what's happening?
Charlie's got a few coins. It's a dangerous statement.
Notes.
It's on a few notes.
Well, here's the problem, right? Because obviously, I don't have obviously King Charles. They have to change all the coins, all the notes change. But what if he dies soon?
Way to be positive.
He's got cancer.
That's a price you pay.
But I mean,
Quite
they
literally.
change all the coins and then boom.
No, they don't change them. They're still. You can still spend a £5 with the Queen's head on it.
But they'll start
You
printing the other ones, right?
Yeah, you print money with the new man about town. But then, once he's gone, then you six again, and in comes another one, and
In comes Will.
like surely on a printing press of money, it's not that big a deal. Like it's a pretty, they'd have the template ready to go now. I reckon
hang
for
on.
Will. So you just remove that template, pop that one in.
Knowing the
press
British
print.
systems, you would have 50 different people that have to okay it. There'd be a ceremony. There'd be a person that has to walk in with a sword and then bow before they can
Yeah.
change it. It would take forever.
Yeah, I don't.
You reckon they'll do a commemorative coin of Prince Harry at any point? I'd love to see that.
Commemorative.
Are you a Harry and Markle fan, Jimmy?
I love Harry. Yeah, I think he's a knockabout. He's royalty, but from the plebs. He's one of the good guys.
Do you like Harry?
He's gone a bit.
Rogue.
Yeah, he's going.
Do you know him? Have you met him?
No.
You never know. You live in the same country for a bit.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Kafusi's haircut? Just before we move on, I'm thinking
boss.
of doing it.
He's
How
boss.
good is that? So, did you see that?
It's been there for a while.
No, I realise that.
He said he's
Bald
gonna.
and he's-
He's using it. He's trying to grow it for a transplant, I think. So I think it's legit.
Imagine
There we
GM
go.
rocking up the podcast with that.
Just plenty.
I'm digging it. Now, there is hope for the New South Wales fans, and we learnt this last night. It has happened before where the Blues have lost the first game in Sydney. Then they went on to win the second game in Melbourne and the third game in Queensland. So it happened in 1994. Gus Gould was the coach. They were talking about this last night in the broadcast. So, I mean, that's only 30 years ago. It's the only time it's happened, but it has happened before. So there is hope. Now, Jimmy Maloney, at the top of the show, I sold that you were going to do a bit of a mentors. I called it Maloney's Mentors. Take a bit of a look at the two coaches and strategically how they played out the week and the game. Obviously, at the moment, Billy is looking like an absolute genius having Cobbo on the bench there.
Hey, I'll cover that after.
You've got
That's
that
on
in
the
your
bench.
notes?
Well, that's in the bench.
Oh, it's in the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah,
Sorry,
come on,
yeah. There's a crossover there.
Yeah.
Did anything stand out for you, Jimmy, in the way that they set up the game?
Mate, not to be honest. I wish I knew this segment was coming on because I wasn't aware of it. But
It was on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, it was on the
It was
WhatsApp.
on the WhatsApp. You said, I'll come in. I'm going to have 1,000 things.
To be fair, I've gone back and looked at last week's games and did the best bench from last week. So I didn't realise you were talking about the Origin. You weren't very clear in that messaging. So
Mate,
I'm with Jimmy.
Okay, apologies on the messaging.
Yeah.
So Billy wins. Jimmy, is that the end of that?
yeah, Billy wins.
Terrific. Great new segment. We will get a sponsor for that. If you are looking to
Great segment. Get it back every
sponsor
week.
a segment, Maloney's Mentors. Well, Bench Watch. This will get a sponsor.
Mate.
Maybe a Bunnings or something.
Yeah.
Give us the Bench Watch. Who used their bench better?
Remember when you got me on your old show? I won't say the name around you anymore for bad feelings. Yeah.
Professor's late hit, was it?
Yeah, and you give me a
good show.
bench, so that we actually took it home.
Because you do know that he holds the record for the most games starting on the bench in the NRL, and it's by a long way.
Nah, Denny Williams was close to me, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
161, and yeah, he was catching up.
Sure,
Anyway.
mate, let's say that.
Bench watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, you touched on Billy and the masterstroke, carrying Cobbo on the bench, as well as a hooker. And looking at that pre-game, they did look light on, but then you do have Carrigan, Cotter, who can play massive minutes in the middle. So, Queensland win that by the length of the straight. New South Wales, they were probably left wanting a little bit. I feel like Hudson Young was a wasted interchange, and I think they need to look at how they do that, whether they carry, depending what happens with Latrell or, Burton. Maybe you carry Burton on the bench. He can cover a number of positions. He's a big body, but they definitely need to look at the makeup of their bench for Origin 2 because, I don't think their bench worked at all.
Jammer, you're nodding along here. Are you in agreement?
Bizarrely, yes. Excellent analysis.
Thanks.
Jerry knows no changes.
All right. Mate, Jimmy, your segment is a flop. Only I blame Professor
No,
for
I
that. But Jerry, Bunnings, let's go. LFG.
What change would you make the same assessment, Jammer, of the benches?
I'd love to have seen what would have happened with Cobbo had an outside back not have gone down. Like, that still intrigued me. Like where Cobbo would have injected himself in, or where Billy would have put Cobbo on. I think with New South Wales, it's so hard because the whole plan just goes completely out the system. Like poor old Jakey Trbojevich, he gets named as captain, plays the first 20, 25 minutes, and then only gets back on for the last 4 or 5. So it was clear that New South Wales plan went out the window. So again, you don't know, like, if it's 13 on 13, and like I think most people predicted, it would have been really tight towards that back end of the contest. Like, would New South Wales' 4 middle forwards and maybe Hudson Young comes on fresh when everyone else is fatigued? Like Jerry spoke about players playing long minutes in the middle. Obviously, State of Origin, the intensity is through the roof, and then you throw a Cobbo on in the middle. How that would have balanced itself out, I guess we will never know. Personally, I think Matt Burton would be perfect on the bench just because he covers so many positions and potential injuries in the game or HIs or whatever it may be. So, I think we probably didn't really get to see the benches in proper display yesterday because of that incident in the 7th minute.
Absolutely. I guess the only other thing to ask you is, who do you go for in Origin? Do you go for New South Wales or Queensland?
New South Wales.
You do?
Yeah, I live here. So
Okay.
got to go for the place that you live in.
Well, it's funny because every Kiwi you talk to, they go for Queensland.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, everybody outside of New South Wales goes for Queensland because people from Melbourne go for Queensland.
Do they?
People from Victoria, yeah.
Seems like a lot of their best players for a long period of time
That's
were from
true.
Queensland, yeah. So I think that's maybe where the...
Tasmanians, they don't give a fuck. So, that was a pretty, that was a good wrap up of the Origin, boys. Really good, great analysis. Having you on here, Jammer, is just taking us to a whole new level. Jimmy, is there anything else you want to add on the Origin before we move on from that, mate?
Nah, I'm good, mate.
Terrific. Very good. Okay. Hey, let's take a little look forward. I don't know how long we've been going for, Charlie.
40 minutes.
40. Yeah, beautiful. Let's have a little look forward. Obviously,
How long?
round 14 coming up. Back to a proper round of rugby league. Now, I know you do your research. I learnt that last week.
Yeah.
You've got the ins, the outs, the whys, the what fors. And it's. Have you heard his analysis, Gemma?
No, but I'm looking forward to
Very
it.
good. He wants a gig on 360. He told us last week.
It's not that hard to get. If I can get it.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
There's a bit of Stephen Bradbury about it, isn't there? It's just whoever. Everybody falls over in front of you.
So is Gordon
Well,
Bradbury or him?
Well, who finished behind Bradbury?
You know what, Jerry? It doesn't really work when you have to explain the joke. Sorry, Professor. Where am I supposed to laugh? Fucking hell, Jerry.
Oh wow, he's third podcast
Man,
for our
just-
audience out there, so he's getting a bit antsy.
Oh, you know the best thing to do in that situation? Just pretend and laugh along like you know what the joke is.
No, I knew what the joke was. I know the
don't-
Bradbury joke.
No, because you're hang on.
But you know what we do?
Was it him or Gordy? No. He's referring to me, you clown. But you didn't know.
Gemma,
Yeah, but that was the joke
have-
on the joke. That was the joke on the joke. Because
That
then
was
you
the joke on the
But then
joke.
Gordon come over the top of you late and took your job.
You can't joke on the joke.
But he come over you late and took your job.
What we
So
do,
that's what my joke on joke is.
Gemma, what we brought in last week was in the last 5 minutes of the show. It's quite entertaining. Charlie comes on and he explains all the jokes to Latsy. And,
right.
And then it works really well.
It would
I'm
be. It would,
university educated. Ease up, mate. I'm smart.
it would be a hazard on our roads, driving back home and Jerry's in the car feeding the wheel and then the penny drops and then and he crashes the car. I get it, hey, boys, can we get on? I get it. I finally get it.
Anyway,
we
fake laugh.
We digress. How's the school drop-offs been this week before we move on?
They're at the mum's house. I haven't seen him.
Oh, okay. All right. You haven't seen each other at the school drop-off.
He's had to think about that. Do you want
You know
to
who's
explain
at
the
my
joke?
school
Do you want to
drop-off?
explain the joke?
No, I'm just trying to think if we saw each other this week.
No, we spoke to each other a couple of times on the phone. We're training together tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
My school drop-off.
We didn't ask, but
That's
go.
divorce. That's a joke.
Oh, Latsy divorce. Well, that's
Well, we
why
didn't ask, Professor, but go anyway. Tell us. if
my
it was
school drop-off, just for the Professor's podcast, James Bracey and Daly Cherry Evans.
Nice.
So it was a bit weird last night because Bracey did his bit and then he threw to old Thurston who was on the bus with DCE. I was like, that's kind of weird that you
Yeah.
both.
Did you talk to him at school pickup this
They
morning?
don't talk to me, mate.
No.
No.
They don't remember you?
No, I chat to him, yeah, somewhat. Not DCE.
Oh, yeah, actually, I had a few replies on Instagram saying that you look exactly like Nathan Lyon.
The cricketer?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Have you caught that before?
I get a bit of Mark Nichols,
Yep.
the new goat,
Yep.
after you were the goat.
Yep. Yep.
And then obviously Bruce Willis. Righto.
Just the best thing about school drop off.
Yeah.
With Jeremy.
Wait, let me get on the edge of the seat.
You hear him before you see him. So if you don't want to make interaction, you sort of hear that noise going on in the background, and then you just bail. But if you do want to see him, you know when he's always
That's
around.
good. You hear him before you see him. And are we still on the hunt for a young lady? Are you still looking?
Oh, I'm open to dating, yeah.
Did any come through on the Instagram? Did anybody send a note? Wouldn't mind taking you out?
Off the back of that,
Yeah.
Budgy Smuggler share, there was a few replies. You do
They replied
the
to
maths.
him. Stop messaging me.
One Jess Maloney, I'm trying to work out who it was. Boom, boom. All right, Dragons, Tigers. So
Yes, Dragons, Tigers. You obviously work for the club,
Yep.
so you have to. Is there certain things you have to say here, or
I wanted to. Well, Tigers have a great win record down at Win, but I wanted to look back to the locker room display from Flano, who coached both me and Maloney, and then I actually got reminded of an incident with Jimmy by Luke Lewis, and also my spray that come up on James's podcast to do with Anthony Griffin. But I thought we could look at locker room sprays.
yeah, great idea. So just set it up with who Flano did a spray at, who was the game between, and when did it take place?
Nice. Penrith on the weekend, the Dragons were getting towed up at halftime by Penrith. They were playing very poor. So he ripped into a few individuals at halftime, got a fantastic response. They come back out in the second half and got the win. But yeah, it's been spoken about a fair bit in the aftermatch about Fleno's very direct spray. I wasn't in the room, but I got told some of the content. It was great.
See, that's called setting up the premise.
Yeah.
That's what you've done just there.
Yeah.
So then we go from there to what's your segment?
Locker room sprays. This is Jimmy's segment. Did you ever get locker room spray, Jimmy? I've got one where, yeah, you got in trouble, but that was funny.
Hey,
Yeah.
I never got in trouble, mate.
No, when we went to I played with Jimmy in 2017 at Cronulla, the World Club Challenge. So obviously Jimmy led the Sharks to the famous premiership, and we got to go to England for the World Club Challenge. So when Flano signed me, he used to say, mate, you got to fucking look after your fucking mate Jimmy. He's a nightmare. He's a pain in the ass. You got to keep, you know, that's your job, keep him in check, which is fucking impossible. But anyway, walk onto the plane. Who am I sitting next to? Jimmy Maloney. 24 hours of the column best coming up. So anyway, through to Dubai is pretty cool, calm and collected. But anyway, there was direct words, no fucking drinking on the flight over, because obviously boys are playing Wigan the week after. I thought at that point I was a chance of playing, but there was ended up being 3 18th men. But anyway, we stopped in Dubai to England. The big fella started ripping in, and anyway, he's fucking into me, chirping at me. And then he's ended up going to the back of the plane to keep drinking and playing cards with a few boys. And anyway, I must have had a nap. I've calmed down and he's fucking blind. Red wine like all around his mouth. Fucking that's your cat. Fucking have a crack. Starts like ripping into me. Yes. Really chirping. Anyway, he's starting to run out of energy because he's been going for a while now. Anyway, land in England. He's fucking, he had a great trip. I don't think he challenged David Boone's infamous Ashes record, but he's enjoyed himself on the way over. Flano, I don't think, was real happy. But anyway, coming out of first class is Shane Warne. Well, fucking Jimmy's pushed through everyone and goes, Warnie, Jimmy Maloney. Didn't have his, like, we didn't have the Sharks get on, and he goes, Latsy, come take a photo. Like, I thought I was getting in the photo. He goes, take a photo of us. And like, Warnie's like, fucking, who the fuck is this bloke? And he goes, Jimmy Maloney. And Warnie just runs off.
I love the GST.
No,
I love the GST on it.
No, bro, that's true.
We did run into Warnie.
No, that's no GST.
Have you got that photo?
No, I don't have the photo. It was on his phone.
Jimmy, have you got the photo?
Yeah, I've got the photo still.
But you can ask,
we'll put it up.
You can ask Wade Graham, because anyway, I've obviously had a fair bit of rest on the flight over as instructed, and I knew I was having a drink that afternoon in London. Anyway, as soon as I've started drinking, I've fucking just gone after Jimmy for the next 6 hours. So I ended up getting a good W on him, but it was a long day for Jimmy.
But then where's the coach spray?
Huh? Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
What a segment, man.
Well, no, got in trouble with Flano.
Right.
So that's where it was. So that's what come up with.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Flano, where was it? Where did the spray take place? What did Flano say?
In front of the team. In
front of the team.
In the team room in England.
In the team room. Okay. Is that it, Jimmy? Is that what happened?
Yeah, if Latsy says so.
No, I just want to get that story out, Jimmy, because then it's actually not fabricated, none of that story.
What did he say to you? What did Flano say to you, Jimmy?
After we lost by 40, I think he said a fair bit.
Nah, after we lost, we got on the drink again, had a massive night. I remember that again over there. But we have, let's be honest, like our prep, because we went over there, like it's so exciting to go over the World Club Challenge on the other side of the world. And 2 days before, we all got on the Eurostar. We were staying in London. So 2 days before the game, we had the day off, and mate, pretty much the whole team, we jumped on the morning Eurostar at about 6 o'clock in the morning. We were in Paris by 8 o'clock and spent the day riding bicycles, eating baguettes and snails around Paris. What a preparation.
Jimmy, you know,
the bus, remember how late the bus was? Because maybe no one knew there was going to be traffic that day, and traffic into like Wigan Stadium was bumper to bumper. Like we arrived about 30 minutes before the game.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great prep, and it was a fun trip though.
Jimmy, what was it like? You've made the executive decision to have a few beers on the back of the plane, and you've got, of all people, coming to try and discipline you, Jeremy Lattimore. Like, I can just imagine you like, who the fuck are you? What are you saying? Like
You know what it was? The decision didn't make much sense because as we got there, we were all getting on the drink anyway. So it didn't matter if we started a bit earlier on the plane. It helped us change. It helped us change times because you got to change night to day. You know, time difference.
Didn't you go into
formula getting on the drink?
Sorry, Jimmy. Didn't you ended up going down into London? Was it you, Mortsy, one of the coaches, Shep?
we were going into Leicester Square and Mortsy, you know, Jimmy, on the tube, those big steep bars.
Yeah.
In between, you know how they got the little bumps every so often so people don't slide on their ass down there? Well, Mortsy thought it was awesome, so he gave it a crack. He slid down and went boom, 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 bounced our way. Had a big bruise on his ass the next morning.
Didn't he take skin off him off his hands and that as well?
Daniel Mortimer?
Daniel Mortimer, yeah, not Mort, yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Locker room sprays,
Mate,
anyone?
I love it. Now, so did you say Jammer had one as well when in your setup? Did somebody spray?
No. He spoke about one I copped off Anthony Griffin on his podcast, which was one for the ages.
Okay. All right. Hey, locker room sprays. That one will get a sponsor. Maybe a deodorant or something.
I reckon, and we get boys to send in their locker room sprays.
Yeah, great shout. Love it. Surely you handed out a couple, Jammer.
I've got one on him. Matt Duffy. Remember when you sprayed Duff? We got flogged by Bulldogs like 32-0.
Oh.
And Jammers walked in and he's like laughing and joking in the hot bath and he's just fucking lost it at him.
Yeah, we just lost.
Yeah. So you
Against
done.
my old team. Not that it's about me or anything like that, but we just got our asses handed to us, and yeah, and yeah, fucking Dufty's there, like smiling and joking.
So what did you say to him?
Blew up.
You think it's fucking funny? You think it's fucking funny?
Are you glad you got us on the buy round on your platform?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
no, it's just I just couldn't handle it. And everyone responds to defeat differently, but yeah, I was pissed off.
That's why everyone loved playing with Jimmy because he fucking wore his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, and Duffo was one of those characters that like we had a funny relationship, and like we were a bit love-hate. And like
Duff loved him, he hated Duff.
Yeah, one of those personality clashes again, Jeremy.
You're good at the personality, you're good at the class.
Yeah.
You remember when he tried to fight me and you in pre-season? Because we were like laughing, we just bounced off each other in the gym, the two hardest workers, and fucking something happened. And
I do remember that. And
he's like, come out the front, you two. And like we just kept laughing and laughing. It was getting more intense. God love Duff.
Yeah.
He was a fun guy though. He was a ball of energy, or he's eating seeds.
Still with us though, isn't he?
He's in Warrington.
Because you're talking in the past tense. He's still with us.
He's a good kid.
If his parents are watching, he's still with us.
Unless he's gone in the night and is yet to be discovered.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, somebody go knock on his door. Is that what we're saying?
Can you explain that one to me later? I didn't get it.
I'll call you on the way home. Thank you.
All right, hey, that was Locker Room Sprays. Great segment. Let's just run through this NRL round 14 because we are running out of time. Dragons v Tigers. You're going to go Dragons, obviously.
Definitely.
Do you have a reason? A real quick one?
No, I looked at the Tigers team. They look very, I don't know, a lot of inexperienced guys. I feel like the Dragons, they need to go back to back. They played really well in the second half last week. And Jesse Marshke, I thought was really impressive. And I'm looking forward to him getting another opportunity. Down at home, we play well at win, so looking forward to the game. But yeah, definitely Dragons.
We probably don't have time for each of you to comment on each one. So let's just, do you mind if we just jump around?
Yep.
Game
Dragons.
for game? Dragons. And Jimmy, just which team, Dragons or Tigers?
Jimmy?
Jeez, that delay's gotten worse up in far north Queensland. I hope that's the
He's
technology.
on Fiji time
I
now.
thought you were just going to stick with Latsy. Stick with Latsy. This is his segment.
Oh, yeah, let's just hand over.
Oh, all of it to
I like that.
No. I like sharing the love.
All right, well, let's go Titans, Rabbitohs, Latsy.
Titans, Rabbitohs. I've gone Titans.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, no, they played great in that back half against Brisbane. I think Rabbitohs they won against the Eels, but they were very depleted. So I'm going to stick with the Titans. I like the way they're playing.
You know what we should do is he does the answers, but then you guys, only if you disagree with him, then you can say you're an idiot, Latsy. Do you disagree with Latsy, Titans, Rabbitohs, either of you?
Who did you say again?
Titans. Des Hasler, your old coach.
You're an idiot, Latsy.
You're always argumentative, James. I love it.
I just wanted to say it. I don't actually care whether he picks.
All right. Cowboys. Sorry, you going Titans or Rabbits?
I'm going to go South, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
Latrell. This is his scoop. Latrell.
This is the most chaotic preview to a round that has ever taken place on any podcast ever. Let's go Cowboys, Warriors. Jimmy, your new club up against one
Cowboys.
of your... Okay.
What? No. Hey,
Jammer.
will lads be backing up? Jimmy, do you reckon?
I can't say.
I don't know, mate. We'll see.
Straight
Oh,
to
you've
coach mode.
changed.
Jimmy
You've
Payton.
changed.
Hey, for the better.
Jammer, Cowboys, Warriors.
Cowboys.
Latsy.
Yeah, I'll go Warriors.
Ooh, just to piss your old mate off, or you genuinely
No,
believe
I think they're coming good.
Prime. Broncos, Sharks. Ooh, that's a good clash there. Latsy, what do you got?
I have to go the Broncos. Sharks have fell out of form, and I just think Broncos will pump them up there. Sorry, Toby.
Sorry,
and
Toby.
to my mates in the Shire.
Jammer
Yeah, I'm with Latsy.
and Jimmy.
Broncos.
Very good. Storms, Knights on Sunday.
Storms.
I like to do plural. Storms.
Stormers, yeah.
Stormers, Jimmy.
Storm.
Fantastic. And Panthers, Seagulls.
Panthers.
Panthers,
Panthers.
Jammer.
Manly.
Hoo-hoo. And I'm going Manly.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, go with Manly.
DCE. He wouldn't talk to him at pickup if he didn't go.
You know what
Manly.
DCE does, which is awesome.
Such a brown noser.
Listen, no. So there's always kids that are playing footy across the road. There's a little section, and he'll run in and go, "Boys, give me the ball," and they'll kick it to him. He'll throw it to him, and it makes
Parents
their
run
day.
across and go, "Don't talk to my kid."
Yeah, normally, and I'll go. I boo him because he's a Queenslander, but I love Manly. I'm so torn.
Anyway,
None of that matters. Okay, Women's Origin game 2 in Newcastle on
mate,
Friday.
you forgot Bulldogs and Eels.
Did I?
Yeah.
Bulldogs Eels.
Well, Bulldogs are killing it. No, I think they've got the second best defence in the league, and I want to give. I obviously really like Cam Serrato, but I think he's done a fantastic job with them this year, and they're going enormous. Even their attack the last 2 weeks, Dragons, and then who'd they punt last week? Knights. They were really good. Jimmy, I know you're on the inner circle there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw you.
Bulldogs,
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, can I ask you a question? This is Maloney. Back when I was working at Fox, we did a story. We did like a fake expose on Cameron Ciraldo when he was the interim coach at Penrith. And the whole thing we were saying was that you were actually doing the coaching because you were injured. And we found all this footage where it looked like Jimmy was
I
telling.
mean, sir, I had to laugh about it.
Did you see it?
Jimmy laughs. Zero was filthy.
But were you coaching?
Yeah, we did. Because I told, no, I wasn't, but I told Ciro that would be my resume when I wanted to get into coaching.
To be fair, I actually got told when Anthony Griffin was the coach out there, Jimmy Maloney was pretty well running the show.
You have to see this vision. So, like, there's bits where it looks like Jimmy is telling Ciraldo to sit down. You go, mate, just give me a second here, mate.
Send it across. I'm really excited to
I don't
watch
know where it is anymore. Okay, hey, very good. We'll get a sponsor for that as well. And obviously the Women's Origin game 2 in Newcastle, Gemma.
Tonight, Blues.
And Jimmy.
Blues series win in a packed Newcastle Stadium.
Yes,
Yeah, it is sold out,
Yeah,
eh?
sold
Yeah.
him. Outstanding. Very good. All right, hey, we are running very quickly out of time, but there is a segment that everybody hangs around for on this podcast. It is Jimmy Maloney's Would You Rather. Jammer, you missed it last week. You are a better person because you missed it.
I've heard all about it.
You're just gonna bleep it out again.
No, wait, just give us one that we can actually
PG,
air this
bro.
week. You can do M15
I
plus.
gave you a good one. I haven't really. All right, Friday. Okay. Would you rather have to watch your parents hit the hay once a week for the rest of your life, or join in once to make it stop?
Oh, who wants to go first?
Fuck, that's crook.
Gemma? We can air this one. That's fine. Your parents' rooting is fine.
I think that's natural.
I prefer to watch.
Yeah, you can't
Every
get
week,
involved.
though.
I wouldn't want to get involved. That's crook.
Can you give us the level of involvement, Jimmy?
Support crew? Bench?
Oh no, I reckon.
Depends. It depends, I suppose. That's up to the individual.
Okay.
I guess.
Gemma?
I think I'd look to make a bit of a secret mushroom pie, give it to the folks, and then I don't have to watch anymore.
You're going to knock them off? I think that's too soon there, mate.
No. Look, I think you've just got to just do that by. No, this isn't a euphemism. Bite down on the mouth guard and just
Do it
watch. No.
I'll watch.
Do you wear a mouth guard when you make love?
Got that.
Just so he
got
doesn't
that.
blood their ears.
Jimmy's on fire today.
I reckon you just watch.
He's good in the heat. Just watch. I will gouge my eyes out. And then I never have to watch ever again. Loophole.
What are you going to do, Jerry? You didn't.
No, I'm watching. I said watching.
He said watching, but he wants to watch more than once a week, which was weird. He wants them to go 2 or 3 times. Hey, that was a good would you rather.
I'm a visual learner.
You are. Charlie, I reckon we can air this one.
Yeah.
Beauty. There we go. That's a thumbs up. All right. Hey, just a reminder to, if you are watching this, tell all your friends and family that we exist. It is Journeyman. You might need to type in Journeyman League. You might need to type in Journeyman Footy. I typed in Journeyman Maloney. That's how I found us. But we're kind of the hidden podcast, which, works well for sponsors, that we're hidden. Like and subscribe us wherever you see us, YouTube, etc. We are at Journeyman_footy. We're on Insta, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, and it's growing nicely. YouTube's already up to 300. Our Insta's up over 1,000. So it's going great guns. All that's left to do, we like to, at the end of the show, we get Charlie to give us a bit of a 3, 2, 1 Dally M points for the podcast. Charlie, give us the 3, 2, 1.
I'll go the 1, Professor.
Yes.
I'll go the 2, Latsy.
Ooh.
And the 3, James Maloney.
Boom! Mate, he's on his 3rd. Respect, Gemma. We appreciate having you on the show, brother. I joke a lot, but I love you.
Gemma, can I ask, so your other 2 podcasts today, you had King Wally Lewis, and then you had Billy Moore on.
Craig Wing.
You had Craig Wing on, and then you sat with the 3 of us. If you had to give your podcast 3, 2, 1, where are we?
Ooh, probably the
Why were
origin.
we 3?
Oh, look, it depends on what you're looking for. Relaxed and fun. This, bit more serious. The review with Wally and Wingy, and then Billy Moore was a bit of both.
He is. He's very good, Billy. All right, very good. That was Journeyman. I guess that's a goodbye, unless anybody has anything else to add.
See you next week.
Adios, muchachos.